Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we're taking a look back at one of the most divisive premiums released for quite some time, really, and that is the Tier 6 premium German battleship, the Prinz Eitel Friedrich. And by divisive, I mean people either loved this ship or hated it. There was very little in between. If you went around and watched the other bigger Warships YouTubers, read some on the forums and the comment sections of those videos, you would see that people either loved it or hated this ship. There was very little in between. So I'm taking a look back at her today. If you go and watch my review of her, so the first, second, and final impressions video, you'll find that I did like the Prinz Eitel Friedrich because the guns were accurate. She was fast and maneuverable, and it was different for the German line. And so today, Mountbatten, what do you think of the Prinz Eitel Friedrich? Well, after playing her for quite a bit, Friday after the end of the stream, I have to say she still feels really good in my opinion. And I say that because the things that I said about her back then, she's still very good at them. And yeah, she's a good all-around premium still to me, and I'm going to explain to you guys why in this video that I still think she is pretty good. And a couple things that I may have left out of the first, second, and final impressions video. So let's get going on those. So the first thing I left out is that although she doesn't have a German, because Germans usually have some pretty nice Citadel armor, she doesn't have that. But she is very low in the water, and she doesn't have a lot of superstructure. Look at it. If you look at how low she sits pretty dang low in the water, and that makes up for that Citadel not being that usual German style of Citadel. And it's pretty hard for ships to hit you at range, considering this is a Tier 6 ship. You get grazed every now and then, but unless you're really close, it's going to be difficult for ships to really pound you. Now the the little superstructure that she has also helps with this a lot. You'll see in the video up on the screen right now, there are several times that shells simply just whiz over the top of the ship, that if it was another German battleship, they would have hit the Citadel and probably would have started, they would have hit the superstructure, and they probably would have started a fire. And I mean, if you look at the Bayern, the Gneisenau, the Scharnhorst, the Bismarck, the FDG, and the Grosser Kurfürst, all of those ships have a lot of superstructure. Those ships are also very wide. Prinz Eitel Friedrich is very slim and narrow, and she is also a pretty long ship. Also pretty fast, pretty dang fast for a Tier 6 ship as well. Now, the biggest complaint is by far the guns. Now, some people say these guns aren't very accurate, and I have to disagree with them. They are extremely accurate, especially for a Tier 6 ship. From about 12 kilometers, from 12 to 13-ish, well, actually 11 to 13-ish kilometers, that is these guns' sweet zone. As you see in the video you're watching right now, if the target is within that range, the shells are very tight. They don't move around a whole lot. It's a very, very lovely levels of dispersion. Now, closer inward or outward, yeah, not so much. And the thing is, these, yes, are these small guns? Yes, they are small guns. But they are extremely accurate small guns. So if you know what part of the ship to shoot at, you're going to do massive pin damage to it. Now, they are also high velocity, so they can still punch above their weight class when dealing with ships of either that have thicker armor or even higher tier. In some cases, I'm going to get to up tiering in a second. So they can still do very well now against cruisers and destroyers. Obviously, you're going to overpin on destroyers. On cruisers, yes, you're going to get a lot of overpins. But it's not a situation like with the Roma where you get overpins and then you like one shell hits, you get an overpin, the rest just completely miss because it's the Roma. No, it's like you get constant damage because it is accurate. It's consistent. Zone, it is consistently accurate, so you'll be getting overpins, but you'll be constantly hitting them. It doesn't have the massive deleting power like like a battleship does when it comes to cruisers, but you can still deal with them. Now, I know that is a drawback, that you can't just... You can if it's a more heavily armored one, but at tier 6, unless you run across a lot of Graf Spies, it's not going to happen. I'm going to be straightforward with you. But you can still deal with it. When you get up tiered, that is a completely different story. Fine, in my opinion. She does great in tier 6 and 7 matches. When you get up to the tier 8, that is when the ship falls short. When you get up to the tier 8, just load HE, and that's your best bet. Load HE. If something goes broadside, you go for it, aim for the bow or the stern if it's a tier 8 battleship, or the upper belt armor, because the guns are too small to really punch at that tier. And I mean, honestly, if you're shooting at a battleship tier 8, HE is really the best way to go, unless you really have... Well, my aim isn't that good to where I can constantly hit the bow or the stern. I often do hit the bow or the stern, but I may not be aiming for there, but that's still where I hit, because I still need to work on my aim, even though I've got like almost 4,000 games. For 4,000 matches in this game, my aim still is not the best, but if you know what you're doing, you can do damage. Now, of course, at tier 8, the armor, even though it does sit low in the water, you're going to get deleted pretty hard. Now, AA, she has pretty decent AA, even in... Before the rework, she had a really good AA. After the rework, it's gone to decent AA. In the video you're watching now, I shoot down over 12 planes, but that is because the carriers were a little focused on me, because I did come and tell them hi from quite close distance. But still, that is quite good AA for the post-rework era that we're living in. Other thing is her secondaries. They are good-ish. They are decent. You do have to build in them quite heavily for them to be good. So manual fire and BFT, AFT, and the module. Are they worth building into? Maybe, because they can get out to 6.1 kilometers, which is a fairly decent range at tier 6. But destroyers will kind of not get within that range, because they know you have pretty good secondaries. But if they slip up, get within that range, it does tear them up pretty good. Now, the thing is too, the turrets on the PEF do take an eternity and a half to turn. So, if you're worrying about that, secondary build, it's not unrecommended in this ship, but I can't fully endorse it like I can with the Bismarck Tirpitz and the FDG. But it is worth dumping some points into, because in a pinch, when a destroyer pops up on the other side of your turrets, you do have to depend upon those secondaries to defend you. Now, will they melt a destroyer? No, they won't melt a destroyer. But if they, because the PF, it is fast, it is maneuverable. If you do dodge their torpedoes and they linger in your secondary range, it can hurt them and can make their day a little worse. So, take with that information, and if that sounds good to you, do a secondary build. If it doesn't, go for a main battery build, because if you fit the aiming systems mod on the PEF, you can get some really nice dispersion, which that is what I have on mine. I do have a main battery build, not a secondary build, because the main guns, if you build into them, they are quite good, except in tier 8 when they're basically marshmallows if you're using AP against tier 8 battleships. Now, thankfully, tier 8 cruisers, the story's a little bit different, because they do have more armor than tier 6 and tier 7 cruisers. Your guns do bite a bit more. Now, but that does come at the price of when you do up to a tier 8 game, you can't do jack against the tier 8 battleships unless they give you perfectly flat broadside, then you can do something. But overall, the PEF, I still like her. I still think she's a pretty decent premium. Now, I don't think she's available right now, but I just want to take a look back at her like I did with the Roma, because I actually forgot about her, and I played her a little bit over the weekend. Like, man, I still like this ship, even though the CV rework and all the stuff that was said about her. I do still enjoy this ship. So I don't know how helpful this is to you guys. If you have her, let me know what you think about her. I know there are some of you that you've told me that you don't like her at all. And she was just a reward ship back in the day. You could buy her when she first came out. You could actually buy her to get the steal missions, and I remember some YouTubers saying that you should just buy her just to get the steal missions and then never use her again. I like her. I still like her. You know, having played her recently after all the changes that have been through the game, I still enjoy her. I guess that's the point of this video. I do still enjoy her. And I know this wasn't a Russian battleship review or anything, but I just had this topic in my mind. I want to talk about her again. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to participate in the Dreadnought giveaway contest. You just have to tell me your best joke about Russia or Russian battleships, since that is the season of World Warships right now. Best joke will get a Tier 3 premium British battleship, Dreadnought, which is also a pretty good premium in my opinion, although she is a bit pricey. But hey, you win this contest, you get one for free. Pretty fun ship to go derp around and do some SEAL clubbing with at Tier 3. So again, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you are all having a wonderful Saturday. Almost didn't get that word out my mouth. Hope to see all of you guys in the next one.